Are you looking to set up your first drip irrigation system, but finding yourself overwhelmed by the process? I felt the same way, so I'm going to show you how I set up my drip system as fast as possible. First thing you want to do is roll your drip tape out. I've been told emitter side up will lead to less clogs in the system. Next thing we're going to do is set up our hard line. This goes perpendicular to the drip tape, and we'll feed each strip of tape with water. I'm using a 3/4 inch hard line, but a 1/2 inch should work too if you get the right fittings and adapters. First thing we're going to do is clamp the end of the tube shut with a hose clamp. Just fold your tube over itself and clamp it down. This clamp was a bit small, so I needed some help. You probably want to get a clamp that fits something a little bit bigger than 3/4 of an inch, but less than 1 1/4 inches. Next, while I straighten the line out, I like to use lawn staples to hold it in place. I'd recommend you do this with your drip tape as well, if they're long runs or if they're in a windy area. Now that I've got my tube laid out, I'll cut it off at the right length. I have these PEX cutters lying around, but you could use a razor knife or even big garden shears. They'll get the job done. Now we're going to hook up our pressure regulator. It'll bring my 60 psi garden hose line down to 12 psi. These are meant to be low pressure systems. Something to know about all these fittings is that they're all standard pipe threads, which is actually different from garden hose threads. So I'm going to connect a female garden hose to male pipe thread adapter into the inlet of the pressure regulator. Wrapping this Teflon tape around the threads will make it screw in easier, which helps you get it tighter. Plumbers seem to do this by feel. You don't want to over tighten and break the plastic, or under tighten and have a leak. Just go slow and try again if it leaks the first time. Just try not to over tighten and break the plastic. On the outlet side is where we'll connect our hard line. I'll tape up this fitting anyway, even though it's plastic on plastic. Then I'll just hook up the hard line like so, and we can move on to hooking up the drip tape. You can get these fittings with or without an on-off switch in them. I prefer the switch just in case I want to be really stingy with my water. Just screw everything together like so, and then we can make a hole in the hard line to put this in. They sell a puncture tool for like $12, but a drill works better. Just go slow and be gentle. You don't want to puncture the other side of the tube. If you make a mistake, they sell these little bits of plastic called goof plugs that you can fill your mistakes with. Now down on the other end, we'll screw our end cap fittings on. I've heard of farmers just folding the drip line over itself and wrapping it in Gorilla Tape just to save a few bucks on fittings. Not my style, but you do you. I'm going to take the black cap off of these because we're going to flush the lines for a few minutes first. Time to hook up the garden hose and run the water. Looks like the water is running. I'll just screw the caps back on and we're all done. Buying the fittings and the drip tape piecemeal, in my experience, is way cheaper and more flexible than getting a kit. Leave a like if you think we should go back to the good old days when bundles were cheaper than buying piecemeal.